Hello and welcome to the Ram Show. It is, what is today? Sunday, April 8th? It's April now, right? Yeah, it's April. It's been, we were here a couple weeks ago. Then we took last week off because of Easter. Now we're back again this week, and hopefully we'll just continue on from here now. So, anyway. Zach, how's it going?
Oh,
Oh, great. We're already starting with the robot voice.
why?
We gotta figure out something different, a different voice over IP service.
I should, I don't seem to have any packet loss, so I don't know why I would be roboting.
Okay, well, it's better now. I don't know, it could have something to do with the fabulous weather outside right now.
Yeah, well, if it did, I suspect I would be observing some packet loss, which I'm... So,
Yeah, I don't know. It might just be our service that we use, too. I think it's just kind
it's
of...
just a... Well, actually, I don't have any packet loss in our service either.
I don't know what it is every week, then. Whatever. Hey, it's not a Ram Show if something doesn't go wrong, so... Anyway. Anything exciting been happening lately?
Nope.
No. You're so boring.
No.
How's your capstone project stuff going? Did you not hear me?
Huh?
I asked how all your fun capstone stuff was going for school.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's really just horrible. The servers, the servers that all the VMs run on, it just gets slower and slower and slower
every time.
And at this point, no one really is getting anything done. Well, we just sit around and chat and like we don't do anything. We don't do anything because, like, you know, let me give you some perspective. The last class, our NetLab pod took almost an hour to start.
Oh my goodness.
It's bad. It's real bad.
Wow.
I don't understand. Like,
man, we need a couple of like those. Can you imagine? We let those dual core Xeon systems that we have sitting down at the station.
No. You mean dual socket?
Or dual socket? I mean.
Oh, I'm sure it would do much better because if it were my guess, I would suspect that the bottleneck is very much centered around the CPU in the server that runs these, because our instructor loves to go on about how it has half a terabyte of RAM and it has a SAN full of SSDs, but that's not really going to do you much good when the virtual machines are all fighting for core.
Yeah. How many cores did we determine? So, a little backstory here. So, our weather graphic software at the TV station is... I don't know what, like, the minimum system requirements are, but I'm sure it's pretty power hungry, considering that the whole environment is basically a 3D environment. Like, the whole thing is like a 3D world, basically. So all the... Well, not all the graphics, but, like, a lot of the graphics are 3D. A great example is, like, all of our maps are, like, 3D. They've got, like, water that's animated with them. Fun transitions, all that fun stuff. The 7-day forecast graphic has not only a moving banner graphic, but a moving background, which are both video files, I'm guessing. And then, in addition to that, it's also got, like, 3D camera and 3D shapes that it has to, like, render out on the fly. So yeah, I'm sure it's pretty resource hungry. Anyway,
if I had to guess, I would say that if I had to guess, I think most of the capacity of that GPU probably goes towards other things, not some simple graphics. I guess I don't know how simple the graphics are you talking about.
Not super simple.
Really? Well, I guess I don't know. I don't know.
Like I said, the entire thing revolves around a 3D environment, basically. That is the beauty behind the system. That's like the big thing about it, is that you can do all the fun 3D stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm sure a lot of it is being rendered out on the graphics side, although I'm sure the processors help in that system. It's a dual socket Xeon system. I don't remember what. Do you remember what?
There were 24 cores in Device Manager, and that means that it's probably a dual 6-core with hyperthreading enabled.
Intel Xeon Silver 4116, it looks like. Yep.
I mean, we could have just looked it up on ARC. Hold on.
With 48 gigabytes of RAM. It's a lot of RAM.
Let's see. 4116. This is, oh, I lied. It was 12 cores and 24 threads, so I'm not sure if perhaps it's... Well, yeah, it must be. 2 of those. That's pretty awesome.
That is a lot of cores. I don't even remember what the old system.
So if there truly are 2 of them in there, then there's 24 cores. 48. That's pretty mad.
Holy mackerel.
I agree. Let's get my hands on one of those.
Contact the weather company.
Nah, I don't think we'll just send us one, though. Might be a little bit steep on the price tag.
I'm sure.
According to ARC, the MSRP on this chip is $1,000 a piece.
Holy mackerel! What about the graphics card in there? I think it was what is it? It is a NVIDIA Quadro P600.
6,000.
Oh, 6,000. I'm sorry.
I believe.
Yep, 6,000. Wonder how much that goes for. Obviously, there's a bulk cost for the hardware of the system, but then you also have the bulk cost of the actual like software licensing, I'm sure, as well. So anyway, but they're pretty mad. I think we have to send the old ones back, though. I don't know. They're all just like sitting around the state. Like there's a bunch of computers just like randomly sitting around the station right now. That like I don't know if anyone knows what they're like, what we're actually supposed to do with them. But anyway, so moving on, let's actually get into tech topics for this week. First off, we are starting with Apple. Speaking of processors and things, Apple is moving away from Intel.
Now, and given their reasoning, I'm surprised they haven't done so already.
Okay, let me bring up a few things here real quick. Now, let me ask you this. Did you actually look through this stuff?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
What do you mean?
Well, sometimes I know you just kind of open the topics up on the fly, so...
Oh, I actually did. You told me to.
I didn't tell you to, I asked you to, so...
You asked me to, and I did it.
Anyway, I appreciate that. Although somebody's not sitting in the rundown right now.
Yeah, working on something.
You forget I can see that. Anyway, okay. All I have to say about this, I want to get your reasoning, but let me say this first. Something to give you something to think about, right? Didn't Apple already try this? And it kind of sort of failed-ish, maybe? Like, Apple tried this before with the Mac Pro G5. And the PowerPC.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you know that huge, giant, Mac I have in the basement?
Oh.
Yeah.
That thing. I remember that thing.
That is a PowerPC. Do you also remember the colored Macs that used to be around? They were like they were a CRT monitor, right? And they had all the they were like blue, like generally.
No, I don't think I know what you're talking about there.
Hang on. Or PC Mac. How about the one that looked like a lamp? Do you remember that one?
You mean the trash can?
No. There was... Oh my goodness, no. There was legit a Mac that looked like a lamp.
No.
No lie. No lie. Hang
Not
on.
heard of that one. I'm gonna look that up.
Hang on. Here, I got you covered. Hang on.
Hold on. Mac Pro lamp. Let's see.
There. Try that.
Oh wait, hold. Yep, I found it.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Now I do. Yeah, I have seen one of those.
Yeah, no lie. It legit
And
looks
yes.
like a lamp. Ugh.
It does look like a lamp, and it also looks kind of dumb, I think.
I mean, okay. The cool thing about this was that you could like swivel the monitor and like move it up and down pretty freely and stuff like that. It was like having it basically had a fluid head mount on it. It was really really neat. But yeah, the graphical design of it, had a little to be desired with. But hang on, let's do this here. Okay, so for anyone who is super confused right now, hang on. Okay, normally I don't care what my hair looks like, but it was sticking up pretty bad there for a second. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So, here we go. So this is what the lamp one looks like right here. So it's got like this round pedestal thing on the bottom, and then it legit had like an arm on it that would allow you to swivel the monitor whichever way you wanted. These are the other ones I'm talking about right here. The iMac, that's what hold on. I got too many windows open now. These ones right here, Zach. These are what I was talking about.
Oh, no, I have not seen one of those before.
Yeah. So those were Power PCs. So the Power PC era was like, I don't know when it was from when it was, but it was like, so Apple, I think, partnered with, I'm pretty sure they partnered with, what was it? Motorola, to build like custom.
Made those guys.
Yeah, to build custom processors, for the system. So that's why I said Apple already tried this. When was the last time you heard of anyone using a Power PC?
Not for quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a slight issue with those that you can't run any x86 software on them.
Yeah, exactly. That is the problem. So what had to happen was that, oops, sorry, everyone, rip ears. What developers had to do, they had to specifically write, software for that architecture, right? Well,
I think that what's going to happen is they're going to account for that this time, and they're going to make it so that
I would hope they do.
Like on it.
I would hope they do, because see, here's what happened. Developers are like, we're over this. And so now you.
And nobody wants to write software for two different architectures. They're just going to write for the more popular one.
Exactly.
So which wasn't Apple's.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder how. I mean, Apple's up there, but that's what I'm wondering about with this. Is it going to work this time, or are they going to run into the same problem?
It's really a no-brainer. Why would you write for a less popular architecture?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is it a wise decision for Apple to try to do this again, to develop their own processors?
Well,
if they can make it run x86,
it could be. I mean, as long as they can make it run the x86 applications that everyone wants them.
I think that's the biggest thing.
But the question that I have is, what does Apple think that they can do that Intel can't?
From what I understand, well, here, let me dive into the article here. So, a report, this is from Bloomberg right here, that was made this week, has made public something that should already have been apparent to tech industry observers. I don't know, I want your opinion on this, but Apple is actually planning to release or replace the Intel processor in the Mac computers with its own chip starting sometime in 2020. Okay, maybe not quite so much that portion right there, because as we know, Apple likes to do a lot of proprietary stuff. So, Anyway, but the two California companies have enjoyed a long and fruitful partnership even since Apple made the switch to Intel CPUs with the 2006 MacBook Pro and iMac. But here's the thing. Recent trends have made the breakup between them inadvertible. Intel's chip improvements have stagnated at the same time as Apple's have accelerated. So basically what Apple is saying is we're too good for you now, Intel. You're not providing us what we want, and we want more.
I think knowing, let's see, so the MacBook is kind of all about portability, and it's sleek and thin and all that, right? So I think that what's going to go in the new MacBooks is going to be more of a, it's probably going to be less beefy and better battery life, better graphics, etc.
Really? You think so? Because to me, Intel. What this would,
or at least that's the idea. That's probably what that strikes me as something that's what they want out of it.
See, who knows if they I go the opposite direction on this. From what I'm reading here, to me, what it seems like is that Apple wants to make the systems more powerful, and that Intel is not giving them what they're wanting. That's what I see. Well, because again, they're talking about the improvements that have been made with the Intel chips, and so it says that Apple has accelerated further than. So to me, it's like I said, like they want more out of the processor than what Intel is providing them. That's
I'm just curious how they're going to get it. Intel's been doing this a long time.
And that's what I'm wondering, too. Because, like I said, Apple tried it, and it didn't work. I think partially due to the architecture. So I think they're going to have to figure out some kind of compatibility between x86, programs. Because I don't think developers are going to want, like you said, if I'm a developer, I don't necessarily want to have to rewrite, how many different versions of a piece of software to accommodate for each, operating system, platform, whatever. So I think that'll be the thing is, well, that'll be one part of it is how is Apple going to pull that portion off? Because you have to figure out the compatibility. That has to be there, I would imagine. Otherwise, I don't necessarily see it working out.
I would not be surprised if it was something similar to what Microsoft were going to do with Windows for ARM. They're just going to emulate to run anything that's x86.
Okay, and maybe that is how that's going to work.
Although what I'm not sure about is the performance of such a thing.
And here's
with emulation, there's always a performance penalty.
That is true.
I don't know how they'll overcome that.
I wonder if I wonder if Apple is thinking that those using the platform are going to rely more on products specifically geared towards products or their applications and stuff more specifically designed for the Apple ecosystem, not necessarily meant to be crossed over.
I don't think that would be smart of them because look where that got them last time.
Yeah. I think if we've learned anything from Apple, though, they can be stubborn sometimes. But now, going back to this real quick, and that is that you made a great point, and that is Intel has been doing this forever. So what is it that Apple can bring?
That's what I mean. What can Apple do that Intel can't?
Exactly. Like, what is it that...
Intel incapable of doing what Apple wants, or does Intel just not want to? Does Intel just not want to put forth the R&D budget to create this super mobile laptop chip that Apple wants? Or is Intel just stumped and can't figure out how to do it?
Yeah, so again, they talk about how Intel's chip improvements have been stagnated.
This is true for both the desktop and mobile. They are very stagnated.
Yeah.
And this has been a thing for quite some time, and it's definitely a problem.
See, because now they're talking about the iPhone systems on chip are outperforming laptop-class silicon from Intel's Core line. So it sounds like maybe they kind of sort of have figured something out, although I would imagine,
I don't think that
mobile
would refer
device...
To top. That definitely doesn't refer to top notebook chips.
But I would
I think
also
that's kind of
imagine
an
that,
unfair comparison.
mobile device versus laptop, I mean, essentially they're both computers, but there are, differences, I guess. I would imagine so. So, yeah. So Apple's decision to ditch the world's most popular. Can we get that in there one more time? World's most popular CPU line for laptop and desktop computers may seem radical, as we are expressing right now. But here's the thing: there are a number of key factors that actually make it obvious and unavoidable. At least that's what this says in the article. So what they say is attend any major exhibition, and you'll find Intel announcing and re-announcing mildly improved processors. Okay.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely.
So whether it's CES in Vegas, IFA in Berlin, the spiel is always kind of the same. The feature's wireless, battery life matters to everyone, and there's a lot of people with 5-year-old PCs who might notice a difference if they buy a new Intel powered computer. It's all painfully incremented and out of sync with Apple's product. What is that? Cadence? Yeah, I think it's Cadence. So Apple will give you, at most, 2 years with an iPhone before basically enticing you to upgrade.
Say that again? Apple will give you what?
About 2 years before they entice you to upgrade.
Ah.
Now, whereas Intel, on the other hand, is trying to convince people with PCs that are half a decade old to do the same. I don't know, though. I think it depends on the person, though. Some people have to have that brand new shiny. Other people aren't quite that way.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, also, I think, at least for me, I don't know about you, but for me, if I can get relatively the same performance out of something for 10 years with only slight improvements versus what I would still imagine to be slight improvements, but every couple years, which one do you go with?
Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree.
So it may be that you're
I'm not inclined to upgrade anything if it's almost as good as
so the Apple ecosystem, you may be, getting something new every single year, or every couple years or whatever. But how much is that performance improvement really? I guess I don't know.
It's almost nil, really.
So anyway, so going on, in the past, Intel could rely on microarchitecture changes 1 year and production processes shrinkage another year to maintain its momentum of improvement. But then there's something Moore's Law. I don't actually know what that is. Do you have any idea what that is? I probably should have done some research on that.
Well, long ago, someone at Intel, presumably named Moore, said that CPUs will get twice as powerful every 2 years.
I think I remember that.
Every some amount of time. And, well, look where we are now, huh?
So, what they say is Intel is approaching the limits of what's possible to achieve with silicon. And it hasn't yet figured out what its next step is.
They're running out of room to get better.
So, it still comes back to then, what is Apple going to do differently that Intel hasn't figured out what to do yet?
I agree. I'm curious. Maybe Apple knows something that we don't, and they're going to just pull out some super awesome, insane CPU that no one else figured out how to make yet.
And if they do, is that enough to
Probably not.
Okay, hang on. If they do,
I will be surprised.
Is that enough to possibly make you switch?
Don't make me laugh.
I don't know, though. If Intel has hit the end, and you can get crazy performance.
But it's not just that. It's the reason that I dislike Apple
is being locked in.
Equal parts crappy hardware and being locked into their stupid ecosystem.
Okay.
So even if they did pull some insane hardware out of nowhere, I would be very, very conflicted because
I will
well,
completely
the
agree with
hardware's
you.
over there, but so is the closed ecosystem.
I will completely agree with you. I am starting to get irritated with the closed ecosystem. This is why I no longer have an Apple Watch. Hello, Fitbit. And why I now have an Android phone. Welcome back, Android. I'm loving you. No, I have not enlightened it yet. So, maybe.
Oh, well,
we'll
that's
get there.
unfortunate. That's very unfortunate.
I don't have that drive to do that like you do.
Well, I mean, I can't do anything without rooting my phone. I can't uninstall all the bloatware. I can't dump an ad blocker on it. I can't. I just can't.
Oh, okay, fine. That's true. Okay, fine. Here, let's real quick, because we've gone way over on this topic. We've got other topics to talk about, but real quick for me. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. What did I mean to do? That's what I meant to do. Okay, real quick for me, break down the table real quick here. Intel's core architecture candidates.
Let it be known that I know nothing about Gen 8. I have no idea what those stupid letters mean.
What happened to Gen 8? Because it seems like, okay, so Gen 8 exists, right? But it feels like we kind of jumped over Gen 8 and went straight to Gen 9.
Did we, though? I don't think Gen 9 is even released yet.
Okay, it looks like it, because 9th gen, Ice Lake, 10 nanometer plus, and then 2018 with a question mark next to it.
Yeah, that means we don't know yet. Because it isn't.
I guess I've heard more talk
right?
about, or at least I think I've heard more talk about Gen 9, or 9th gen.
Well, the problem here is that, well, 7 and 8 kind of just overlap a little bit.
That might be what it is.
And, like, I'm less inclined to refer to them by their generation, or by their names, and more by the generation. Or not even that. I'm less inclined to refer to them by either of those two things, and I'm more inclined to refer to what the process size is on these stupid.
So what are we looking at? Process node.
This is so confusing, honestly. This Gen 7, 8 thing, and now 9? Okay, so 9 is going to be 10 nanometer improved process. Great. That's nice and simple. Now let's not turn it into this 8 again, please, Intel. Would appreciate it.
So for me,
this table
who doesn't
makes my head hurt.
For me, who doesn't completely understand, explain the process node size. Is that the size of?
That is the size of the smallest transistors on it, basically.
Okay.
And when you make them smaller, they need less power.
Okay, makes sense. So lower TDP then.
Yes.
So lower TDP.
However,
better
when you get smaller, it's
better performance.
What I think it. No, not necessarily better performance. But when you make them smaller, you can put more of them onto the same size die. However, I believe also it becomes more difficult to manufacture them, which is why they only move down when they're ready, when they can produce the yields that they want.
That makes sense. I would imagine that it takes more time.
They're kind of on one of those curves that you maybe remember from math class that like gets closer and closer and closer to 0, but never actually reaches.
Never actually reaches
where
it.
They're just they spend longer and longer and longer on each process node because it takes them longer and longer and longer to reach the.
Right, and 10 nanometers is pretty small.
Yes, that's unbelievably tiny. But
so we're pushing the limits here.
But that's why, because you can only get so small, right? What happens when you run out of space?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no one knows, I suppose.
So, like you said, unless Apple has something that like we totally don't know about.
I mean, in the future, CPUs are probably not going to be made from silicon anymore.
Right.
No one's really got there. That's really the answer to this process node problem, is that someone has to come up with a CPU made out of something
else
that doesn't have this scaling issue. But basically, when they make the process size smaller, they can fit more transistors, more thinking brain power, basically. More CPU brain cells onto one die kind of thing.
Okay, all right. We are super over right now, so let's shall we move on? Let's move on.
Sure, why not? I hope I did okay at explaining that. I'm not an expert myself.
Neither am I. You know,
if you really want to know more, you'd do better to look it up.
Yeah, you know more about the hardware stuff than I do. Okay, Microsoft news time. Everyone's favorite time. Now, this story is a little bit older. It goes back a few weeks. We are talking about... Now, okay. Remember we were talking about Windows 10s?
Yes, and how it looks to be garbage?
Well, okay. Now I'm super confused, and you might be super confused too after we go through this. By the way, open the darn rundown, please. So Microsoft confirmed...
I don't want to switch Google accounts.
Back on... why do you have 2 different Google accounts?
I've got like 3. I was logged into my throwaway, okay? That's all.
This was posted back on the 8th, so it's a little old. March 8th, actually, a little old. But Microsoft confirmed its plans to move Windows 10s from a dedicated operating system, because that was the thing about it. It was going to be like this dedicated operating system, to a special S mode for versions of Windows 10.
About that?
I think we did, but
that sounds way better than the garbage they were plugging before.
Well, okay, so in a blog post at Microsoft, Microsoft's Joe Belfiore, something like that, he admits that the original version of Windows 10s that locked a PC down to just using Windows Store apps was confusing. No, really?
Confusing? That's what they think is the problem with it? I don't know about that. I think
you know that they're not gonna. You know that they're not going to admit that it was a complete and utter stupid idea.
Well, I mean, like, you know, you think Apple devices are restrictive. Oh boy, you're in for a treat. Microsoft said, "Oh, we can do one better. Now you can only download stuff from the Windows Store because everyone loves the Windows Store." Or whatever they're calling it now.
Windows Store? What's the Windows Store?
Is it really called the Windows Store?
Yeah, it's the Windows Store.
That should show you about how much I use it.
Hey, Zach, what's the Windows Store? I've heard of the Google Play Store and I've heard of the App Store, but what's the Windows Store?
Yeah, you know, it's just some crap that's stuck in my Windows 10 installation that sometimes pops.
So,
in a menu somewhere, deep in settings or whatever.
So,
you know, speaking of things popping up, I have got these incessant update notifications that cover my entire screen. Like every day I'll like unlock my computer, and then this huge blue just covers my entire face, just like, just in case you didn't get it the last 10 times, Microsoft's gonna stop supporting your version of whatever on this date.
So, here remains the question.
It's horrible.
Do you upgrade that at that point to get it to stop, or what?
No! I don't give them what they want when they pester me like that. I'm stubborn. I didn't want it. I didn't want it the first time, and I don't want it now. I don't understand.
Man.
What's so hard about that?
Yeah, at some point you're going to have to learn to embrace it.
I really hate it.
At some point you're going to have to learn to embrace it.
Because this is the world we live in now, where your operating system is not.
You know what? Okay, you know what Microsoft's argument is on this?
What?
Well, you know what Microsoft's argument is on this, and it kind of sort of makes sense. For the average consumer user, they don't necessarily think about doing updates and things like that. So the idea is that we're trying to be helpful by.
Well, I don't care. Why don't you let me turn it off then? Why don't you let me turn it off if I just, you know, click a disclaimer that says I'm responsible for anything that happens?
Because Microsoft wouldn't be doing their job at that point by annoying the crap out of us.
Who would even complain about that? Who would complain about that? Nobody. I should just switch to Linux. I'm not going to switch to Linux. I'm too lazy for that.
Oh man.
But Microsoft are sure making my laziness about
Okay.
switching to Linux.
All right.
They're kind of making me want to take a second look at that.
Let's move on. We are so behind this week.
I don't care. I had to say that.
Okay.
I had to yell about it. It's so annoying.
So going back to this Windows guy here, he says we have heard feedback that the naming was a bit confusing for both customers and partners. No, really?
Really?
Normally when you add S onto the end of something, it's like Special Edition or Sport or Super or something like that. Anyway, so here's what they're doing. To avoid the confusion, Microsoft is now creating an S mode for each version of Windows 10, starting with the next update to Windows 10 coming soon. Now, customers can choose to buy a new Windows 10 Home or Windows 10 Pro PC with S mode enabled on it.
I just don't understand why someone would choose such a thing that's restricted. Why they would choose a more restricted Windows.
But now it gets even more interesting, right?
Unless it's significantly less expensive or something. You get a big discount on a device with this? Maybe.
Right?
I don't know.
Okay, so it's not clear how simply moving this Windows Store lockdown to a model will alleviate some of the confusion around Windows 10s. But perhaps your push-to-talk is stuck on, Zach.
Excuse me? What?
I said your push-to-talk is stuck in the on position.
No, it's not.
It was.
How does that even happen? What?
No.
Whatever. It's fine.
Okay. So it's not clear how simply moving this Windows Store lockdown to a mode will alleviate some of the confusion around Windows 10s, but perhaps Microsoft will make the unlock process even more obvious. But previous rumors also suggested that Microsoft was planning to allow Windows 10 Home users to disable the S mode free of charge. Okay? But Windows 10 Pro customers with S mode enabled on their devices would be forced to pay like $50 to get it unlocked and basically into a full version of Windows 10 Pro. But, okay, so it turns out that the rumors are actually inaccurate because in a statement it says, if a customer does not want to switch out of S mode, they will be able... Oh, if a customer does want to switch out of S mode, they will be able to do so at no charge regardless of edition. So...
Well, that then seems kind of redundant.
Exactly. Why? So what is the
point? Why would you not switch out of it? What's the point?
What is the point of Windows 10s?
A worse Windows 10 that you're just going to preload onto some devices, and then everyone who buys one of those devices is going to be like, oh,
exactly.
What's this? This sucks. I want a regular Windows 10. It's free to have a regular Windows 10? Awesome. Give it to me.
So what is the point?
I don't know.
Okay,
I have no idea
unless we lost something in translation here, what is the point then?
Well, I think if I can be a little cynical here, I think the idea is that many people perhaps won't be aware that they can switch or will simply choose not to because, oh, I don't care, I don't need it, and then they will end up getting all their programs from the Windows Store, which is something.
Okay, maybe that actually might be.
I don't know. I feel like that might be a little bit stretching it, but I don't know. It could be possible.
If we have
put on my cynical Microsoft hat here.
Okay, but if we have learned nothing about Microsoft, it is that they will literally do anything at this point. Anything at this point. Exhibit A, all the random lovely pop-ups on your system to get you to upgrade, use their products, use the Windows Store, use Bing, Cortana.
Oh, Cortana can die.
Edge.
Ugh. Jeez, man.
Oh, man.
Killing me. Ugh. Gross.
I know. Oh, yeah, so the last time that my system wanted to do an update, it was just like, your update has been scheduled. Like, thank you.
Might I remind you that the last time mine decided to update, it ended up with a blue screen on boot several times before. Credit to them. I'll give them credit for this. It rolled itself. it rolled itself back.
Again.
So, thank goodness for that. I would have been extremely upset if it proceeded to update and then brick itself irreversibly.
Well, remember with like Spectre and
you're right. I suppose you're right. It could have happened.
with Spectre and
Oops, you bricked your computer. Our bad.
what is the other one? Spectre and Meltdown. Yes, thank you. They were, updates were patches were bricking systems.
Oh no!
Like,
that's
oops.
a nightmare.
Oops. Yeah.
I like update.
Hi, Microsoft.
Update should not be a dirty word, but update is basically a dirty word.
At this point, it is. Yes.
I hate seeing that word.
this
I just
point,
hate
it
it
is.
because it just reminds me of so many bad things. Updates that brick your system. Updates that just pester you into doing it. Microsoft and their stupid auto-updating crap that reboots your computer whenever you least want it. It's why should update be a bad word? There's nothing inherently wrong with updates. It's just the way, well, Microsoft does them.
Yeah.
And others do them.
I agree with you on this
point. Makes it bad.
I agree with you on this point right here, and that is that if okay, what do you think about this? By default, it's enabled, for the average consumer, right? Updates come down automatically.
Of course.
Right?
Nothing wrong with that. But if I press the button that says, I don't want this, can I not have it, please? Thanks.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you can, snooze, notifications about updates for, 60 days, 90 days, something like that. But here's the kicker, right? Here's the kicker, okay?
Yeah.
After that 90 days, okay, you can snooze it again after you do the update.
Well, actually, there's always the can I call it a hack? I don't think it's really a hack.
A mod, maybe?
Something different. I don't know, but there's always the metered connection workaround. You set your connection to metered, and then your computer will not do the updates.
So it's like a walk around kind
of.
Well,
and that's kind of tricky because, well, what if Microsoft decide they're going to ignore people's metered connections? Well, that's going to be no good.
I'm sure the
then you're going to have a bunch of angry people that just got charged overages on their metered connections because their computer was downloading stuff without them telling it.
I'm sure the ISPs love that.
Oh, I'm sure the ISPs love it. ISPs are the most money-hungry pieces of crap on the planet.
You could have a cool ISP like I have, and you don't have data caps.
Everyone can... In a perfect world, maybe.
Fiber to the home, no data caps, local co-op. Oh, it's awesome. Oh,
I've got half a mind to say that I wish someone would DDoS your house so that you'd know what it's like to use my internet connection.
Oh, how are you enjoying that MediaCom cable over there? Well, you're not on MediaCom right now.
I wish someone would DDoS your house so you'd know how I feel all the time.
No, thank you. No, thank you. All right, let's talk about an ISP real quick. Let's talk about CenturyLink.
Those are my favorite.
CenturyLink, yes, is trying to force customers into arbitration in order to avoid a class action lawsuit from subscribers who say they've been charged for services they did not order.
So if CenturyLink has no customers, then who are all the people that are suing them?
Okay,
are they just not customers?
Here's
I'm
what.
Pretty sure they're customers.
Hold on. Backstory, because we've read the story, right? So
I've read it because
I've read it too. So CenturyLink is claiming that all the people who are filing a class action lawsuit against them basically can't sue CenturyLink because CenturyLink doesn't offer services and doesn't have any customers. Basically, what they're saying is
why can't these not customers just go or turn around and sue the sue whatever is the name of the company that actually provided them the service
Well,
that is supposedly under the CenturyLink umbrella.
exactly. Okay, and that's what CenturyLink is saying, is that if you want to sue somebody, you have to sue the umbrella company that's underneath us. Basically.
Well, that seems like a terrible defense. It's not going to stop somebody. It's not going to stop them from just going and doing exactly that. And well, and then what?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
basically, what CenturyLink is saying is that the customers, they don't actually belong to CenturyLink. They belong to their subsidiaries.
That was the word I was looking for.
And so CenturyLink basically doesn't exist as a service provider, at least according to a brief CenturyLink filed, or according to a brief CenturyLink filed on Monday. That's funny. Okay, so the sole defendant, CenturyLink Inc., is a parent holding company that has no customers, provides no services, and engages in none of the acts or transactions about which plaintiffs complain. Wait, okay, provides no services, but they provide a service to the subsidiary, which is a connection into the internet. Last time I checked, a connection into the internet is a service.
I don't know. That's exactly. It seems like such a silly defense. What? What is that going to do for you? Like, I don't know what's going to. What did their, like, you know, the lawyers at CenturyLink? What did they think was going to happen when they pulled this card? I'm not a legal expert, so perhaps there truly is.
I'm not a legal expert either. But...
Perhaps there is something smart about this. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like there has to be something to it, otherwise they wouldn't do it. But it baffles me, that's for sure. I don't know.
Okay, so
why would you do this?
CenturyLink is saying that the subsidiary companies should be able to intervene in the case and enforce class action waivers. See, this is the other thing about this too. So there's a second part to this, and basically what CenturyLink is saying is that, well, you can't really sue the subsidiaries anyways because you signed a what is it? What do they call it? Oh yeah, class action waivers, basically. So basically, you've signed something that said, "Yeah, we agree not to sue the crap out of you." Which
okay. Well, here's the thing: is I don't think signing something that says we're not going to sue you is necessarily binding if the company does something illegal that can be sued for.
Yeah, okay, I would imagine
like
that.
I think that's not necessarily a you cannot sue us under any circumstances.
Well, no, I'm sure it's not.
Like,
but
you know, if the company turns around and does something illegal, you can still sue them. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know the. I would imagine.
I've just heard of such things happening where a company tried to say, "Well, you can't sue us because this and that in the contract."
Yeah, but if you're doing something illegal anyways, then that's probably going to catch up with you at some point, anyways.
Come on, why? Why are these companies got to be just the sketchiest piece of garbage on the planet?
Because ISPs are greedy. ISPs are greedy.
They are understatement of the century, right there. The century. While we're talking about CenturyLink, I didn't even mean to.
TLDR, CenturyLink is basically saying, yeah, you can't basically sue CenturyLink because CenturyLink doesn't actually provide you any services. You have to go through the subsidiaries that, are, doing your stuff. Which, by the way, the article says that, when you type in, half those, subsidiaries, URLs and stuff like that, they link directly back to CenturyLink.
Well, here's the thing. It almost feels like CenturyLink is trying to call these people's bluff. Like, well, you can't sue us. You have to sue this company instead. And then they're going to turn around and be like, fine, we will.
I wonder if it's one of these things where it's just like, we're going to try to do whatever we can to kind of BS our way around this for now and hope that people just get fed up and kind of just say, fine, whatever, I guess. Maybe.
Perhaps, but I hope not, because anytime an ISP gets a chance to, squirm a little, it makes me happy on the inside.
Right. Well, and then there's also controversy about did these people actually really sign a class action lawsuit waiver, or did they not, kind of thing. There's also talk about how CenturyLink may have set up additional accounts or fake accounts to get people to give them money, I guess, kind of thing.
Can we also talk about the fact that such a waiver exists? Apparently, Like, why should such a thing exist? Why
Okay,
should a
okay.
legal document that says you're not allowed to sue us even exist? What?
Uh,
What kind of sketchy stuff are they doing that they don't
Okay,
want to get?
you know what,
That they
though?
don't want to get sued for?
you know what? Well, okay, it's not necessarily always
If
that.
they're not doing anything, if they're not doing anything
You know what? Okay,
bad,
let
then
me-
why are they worried about getting sued?
I,
I understand that. Well, I suppose I understand that there's always, some idiot who's trying to sue some other idiot for something that they
Right.
shouldn't be.
Okay, let me give you an example real quick, though, okay? I volunteer at a ranch, right? Now,
There you go, okay.
granted, we're a nonprofit organization, so it might be a little bit different with that, but still, we have a waiver that basically says, because we have horses, right? So our waiver basically
The one that says if you get hurt, you won't sue, kind of thing?
basically, yes, if you get hurt, you assume your own responsibility. We do whatever it is that we come to do to provide a safe environment, but if you get hurt, you basically agree not to sue the crap out of us.
Right. I mean, I understand that, but, like, you're not going to get hurt signing up for an internet connection.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. So I'm
Like,
not a lawyer.
I don't know. It seems potentially bad that such a thing even exists.
Yeah, so it's a giant.
I'm sure there's
mess.
legitimate reasons for such documents, but
Okay.
do you really think CenturyLink is a company that would require a legal document like that for any of those legitimate reasons?
Legitimate reasons?
It's an
Probably
ISP
not.
we're talking about here.
Probably not. You know what? Let's move on to our final topic for this week. This one is gonna make you be like, "What the heck?" And this, you know what? Okay, this one is one that I think is gonna push your buttons a little bit, and this is why I've left it.
I just clicked on it. Oh, why did you? Why'd you do that? Come on.
Okay, let me explain this real quick. One thing that I absolutely love about doing this show every week, right? Is that initially when I started it, I didn't think that you were going to be as engaged in it as you are, knowing your personality. But you really get engaged with it. And I just love the energy that plays back and forth between us. And the fact that I know you well enough.
Makes my skin crawl.
And that's the other thing. The fact that I know you well enough that I know what will get I know how to basically get certain reactions out of you.
Right.
Which makes for some really fun entertainment. But here we go. Okay? So, T-Mobile Australia is raising eyebrows over how the company has been, get this, storing customers' passwords. And it's been doing it partially in, wait for it. I'll let Zach say it.
I already know. Clear text.
Why?
Why? Why? I got no idea.
Okay, and if that's not bad enough, it gets worse. It gets worse. Just hold on. Don't read anymore. Just listen. Just listen, okay? Because this is too great to pass up, okay? So, how the mission came about is even more jarring, right? Okay? T-Mobile Australia's official Twitter account kind of sort of, I don't know, maybe casually tweeted about it on Wednesday.
So I'm reading these T-Mobile tweets, and why do I get the feeling that whoever's behind the keyboard there is
this is the best part. Yeah, adding. I really do not get why this is a problem.
Remember, this representative says that their security is amazingly good. Whatever that means. I don't know.
Okay, can we go back real quick to the I really do not get why this is a problem. Can we go back to that real quick? Hey Zach, can you please explain to me why this might be a problem? Storing passwords in I don't know, clear text?
Because then anyone with access to the database of passwords could just read off the password.
Mm-mm-mm.
Just read them. No problem.
Yeah. So
Like, you know, say they're all hashed. Well, then somebody breaks into the database and, oh, look, I got all the passwords. Oh, darn, they're all hashed. It'll take me forever to get the password.
essentially, that's the idea. Yeah.
That's the idea, right? But, oh, hey, look, they're all in clear text. Awesome.
Yeah. So Claudia Pellegrino, I believe, says, "Does T-Mobile Australia in fact store customers' passwords in clear text?" And then there's a reply here. Had the same issue with T-Mobile Australia. Apparently, they are saving the passwords. Oh, Austria. I'm sorry. Apparently, they are saving the passwords in clear because employees have access to them. You have to tell them your password when you're talking to them on the phone or in a shop, and they are not case sensitive.
Why?
Then T-Mobile.
And then I like that this representative just casually tweets, "Oh yeah, we do that.
Yeah,
oh yeah, we do store the
"Well,
password."
Claudia, the customer service agent see the first 4 characters of your password.
Like, why?
We store the whole password.
Why
you
is
need
that?
it for logging.
Like this person just says this statement like it's nothing. Like there's no problem with that.
Right?
At all.
Here's my thing.
When there
real
very
quick.
clearly is a big problem with that.
Here's one thing about this. Aren't security pins a thing?
Well, and then you scroll down. I don't really get why this is a problem. You know, blah blah blah. We secure all data very carefully. What does that even mean? You can't just say that. You know, our security is good, so we can do whatever we want.
I love the next couple ones here. This guy, Eric. Well, what if your infrastructure gets hacked and everyone's password is published in plain text to the whole wide world?
Well, what if that doesn't happen because our security is amazingly good? I quote.
Bad news for you, Kathy. Nobody's security is that good. Hang on. Target, Equifax, Amazon, Panera just got hacked. Forever 21. Shall I continue?
Pizza Hut.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, so I just can't get past the part where they say our security is amazing.
The part I can't get past is I really do not see why this is a problem. I really do not see why this is a problem. Oh my goodness! Like, that's the part that just makes my blood boil right there, where it's like, really?
Basically, what they're saying is this is not a problem because we secure our data carefully. Therefore, it is fine for us to not secure our data carefully.
Oh yeah, just like how Equifax secured
their data. You want to run that by me again?
Yeah,
because I think that what you said was a bunch of garbage, and I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, exactly. Just like how Equifax, secured their data so securely by, admin password for the MySQL database. Like, really? Oh my goodness. Huh? Security by obscurity, Zach.
This is cringe-worthy.
Security by obscurity, Zach.
Cringe-worthy here. This representative just makes me.
Yeah, so this is bad. Granted, the information is still partially concealed, but exposing the first 4 characters to any password, kind of sort of makes it a lot easier to possibly kind of sort of guess. Just saying.
And, well, it's easier to brute force, and if you perhaps knew something about the person who owned this password, you may be able to more easily just guess the password yourself by knowing what the first 4 characters are.
I'm sorry. I've been saying Australia. It's not Australia. It's Austria. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
I told you that. What do you mean?
That's my fault. No, I thought it was started in Australia, and then T-Mobile Austria also commented in.
Oh. Well, in any case, whichever T-Mobile it is, they got a problem.
Yeah, T-Mobile.
And apparently they don't think they got a problem.
Phased at all. Not at all. We secure.
What, you mean this is an issue?
Very carefully.
Nope, this is just fine.
Yeah.
What do you mean this is just fine?
Yeah.
What?
We secure all
Clearly,
data
you
very
don't
carefully.
secure the data carefully if it's in plain text.
Yeah. So there is nothing to fear. Nothing.
Now, I'm not sure. I can't decide. Is this just like a was this is this just poorly translated, or is this representative just that uninformed?
I don't honestly
Amazingly
know.
good. What does that even mean? Our security is amazingly good. Huh? Excuse me? And you're a professional that like works for this company,
right?
and is
No.
trusted to speak publicly for this company, and this is what you have to say?
Right?
Baffles me.
Are you ready for this, Zach? Are you ready for this?
No, what could it possibly be?
So they're talking about the fact that their security is amazingly good. Yeah, we don't participate in getting breached, so yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
Because that's totally how it works. Because every company totally.
Yeah, we don't get breached, though. Yeah, right. And so all those companies that did get breached, they were just like, yeah, we're just gonna go get breached today.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Go get breached today. Gonna lose all this data. It's gonna be great. All these credit card numbers and social security numbers and customer data, emails. Yeah, we're gonna lose all that today. Was that what they said? Really? And you are confident that T-Mobile will never have such a thing happen to them, huh?
Yeah, okay.
Well,
so Friday, okay?
I got bad news for you. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens when you least expect it, too.
So back to this real quick here, okay? So on Friday, a T-Mobile Austria spokesman confirmed that its customer service agents do see part of the passwords for authentication purposes. Again, security, pins are a thing.
That seems very,
Just
very... that seems very poor. I think there's got to be a better solution than that.
Yeah. Presumably, this occurs when a T-Mobile customer talks to a service agent over the phone. We are also using... Now, okay, here's what they are saying. We are also using one-time PINs for customers' authentication and are evaluating voice biometrics for a better user experience, the spokesman said.
See, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. But seriously, quit what you're doing now, please.
Passwords should never...
It's really bad. Like, the employees... Just because they work for you doesn't mean they're 100% trustworthy.
Exactly.
What happens when an employee starts stealing data because they guess somebody's password based on the first 4 characters?
Right. Okay. And back me up on this real quick here. Back to what I was saying. Passwords, right? Passwords should never, ever be stored in clear text.
Never. No circumstances. I don't care.
By the way, can I call out Joe right now?
Did he have like a notepad?
Yeah, he's got like a Word document with passwords stored in it. You know how many times I've said to him, "Don't do that."
Well, let me
imagine
add something. If you're that lazy, just download a password manager. There are free ones out there that will encrypt the crap out of your passwords.
Yeah,
and then type them in for you. It's great. And they'll even generate a super secure password for you, more secure than anything you could possibly shove into your brain.
Exactly.
My brain is full of passwords, and usually when I log into something that I haven't touched in a while, I have to play this game I like to call Password Roulette. Which one was it? I don't know.
Oh,
that one?
Goodness.
No. That one? No. Oh, I got it.
I do that with like the computers at like school.
Surely
where I'm
you
like,
do
oh, what password is it today?
Right? Oh yeah. Is it IT Spring? Whatever.
Right.
That's the default password.
Joe says, "Hey, LOL. I heard that." Well, that was the point, dude.
That's what's called a call out.
Okay, I have iterated it to him many times, Zach. Would you please reinforce it?
No passwords in clear text.
Thank you.
None. Zero.
None. So now it's not just me.
There's only one correct amount of passwords that should be stored in plain text. It's 0.
Exactly. So now it's not me telling not just me telling Joe that, it's you also telling it to him.
Quit it. Bad.
Exactly.
Bad password policy.
It is a bad password policy. I will say this. Okay? In your personal life, it is a bad password policy, right? Anything Tech B
But-
media wise though? Definitely, please, no. As a system, as the administrator,
It's one thing to just store your personal accounts in some notepad document. Like, okay, that's one thing. It's not good, but it's one thing. But when you're a company that people
Right.
trust their personal information to,
well, even a company in
you are
general,
obligated, whether you want to or not, to store them securely.
yeah, even a company in general, and that's what I've told. I will tell you this right now, and I will tell Joe this. I know you won't do it.
What could it be?
And that is that if I ever catch any of you storing Tech B media passwords in clear text,
Why would
oh
you
my
do that?
goodness, oh my goodness,
That's you, Joe.
no, just no, it's not a good idea. Don't do it. Like, if there's anything that will irritate me more than anything, it's that. Because, oh, my goodness. Okay. Yeah. So.
What a great idea. Let's store the passwords in plain text.
Okay, going back to this, let's finish this up. They say all the login information is also safely stored in encrypted databases. Nevertheless, T-Mobile Austria's policy on passwords goes against established security practices. Wait, hang on. What's the point of having it in a securely stored encrypted database if it's already sitting out there in clear text?
Who knows?
I
Who
don't know.
knows?
But yeah, you're right. Companies typically keep a hash of your password, and that involves sending the password through an algorithm that scrambles the characters into what appears to just be random text. You know, letter, character, or not letter, letter, number, random symbol, more letters, more numbers, more random symbols.
And the idea is you can put it through one way. You can turn a password into a hash, but you can't turn a hash back into a password. So then somebody provides you the password. You run it through the hash. You compare it to the hash. Is it correct? Yes. Okay, then this must be the person they say they are.
Right, yeah. So,
There you go.
yeah.
Hash is 101.
So you're right. So in the event that a
Some are
breach
better than
actually
others,
occurs-
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So in the event that a breach actually occurs, the hacker is only going to be able to steal the passwords in hashed form. Not that they can't
And good
figure out
luck
the
getting
hash.
the passwords out of the hash.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not that you
it can
can't.
be done, but it
but
takes
it
a lot
takes a
of
while.
computing power, and it takes a long time.
Yeah.
And
There
it
is.
can't really be done en masse. You can't just say, well, we're just going to, recover all these passwords now.
Yeah. There is one little good piece of information, and that is that T-Mobile US is not following this practice.
I would hope not.
So
But why are other branches of T-Mobile doing this? That's bad.
remember, like I said, they don't participate in getting hacked, so it's not going to happen.
Oh, you're right. I forgot. Sorry. Well, feel free to continue storing the passwords in plain text then, huh?
Right?
I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Oh goodness. All right. Man, we went way over than we normally should, but whatever. Oh, I do want to I do want to do this one real quick, just because I think it's an interesting story. Let me ask you this real quick here. Would you ever go vacation in space if you could, Zach?
What?
Just answer.
Not
Just
today,
answer.
I wouldn't. What am I supposed to do there?
Okay.
I don't know.
If you had the opportunity to go up to space, hang out there for like, a week, whatever.
When it becomes more accessible, maybe.
Well,
When
okay.
when
a
when
company is
going
working
on a
on it.
vacation. Maybe when going on a vacation in space is as simple as just hopping on a plane and then you get off in a space
Well,
station.
it wouldn't be a plane,
Maybe,
it'd be
that'd
a
be-
rocket. Oh, okay. So if this sounds like something that's interesting to you, there is a company that is working on it.
I'm sure it costs a fortune.
The Aurora space station, or the Aurora station, could tour you around low Earth orbit as soon as 2020. If you have a spare, $9.5 million to burn. Yeah. So,
Ooh.
were you thinking like 1,000? That's why I paused there for a second. Yeah, if you have an extra 9.5 million, yeah, if you have an extra $9.5 million just sitting around, yeah, you can totally go to space. So I guess that's better than like going on the International Space Station, though. That'll set you back like 40 million or something like that.
Ooh.
So, in that retrospect, it is a lot cheaper.
That is
still.
why I said when it becomes more accessible, yeah, why
yeah,
not?
sure. All right. Well, let me find the correct graphics here. There's too many buttons for me to hit now. All right. Well, with that said, gonna go ahead and end this episode of the Ram Show. Thank you so much for joining us. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Get subscribed if you haven't done that already as well. Oops, that's not what I meant to hit either. There we go. That's what I meant to hit. Man, we've been horrible with doing like any real main content stuff on the channel. We've just been super busy, so maybe we'll get to that, maybe we won't, but we will continue the Ram Show for sure. So again, thank you so much for joining us. If you missed anything, you want to take us on the road with you, iTunes, you can do that. Go listen off the podcast app. We're going to be making some kind of video at some point, I think, about how to do it on your Android device too. So yeah, but anyway, we will see all of you next week. Bye.